Everybody, Elisa here, coming to you from my car in New York City with another Vera Bradley Bag of the Day, New York City alternate side of the street parking edition. I'm in my car waiting out the alternate side of the street parking regulations, time block. So I don't get a ticket and I don't have to move my car. New Yorkers know what I'm talking about. And so I thought while I'm sitting here, I would just talk about a couple of little things that I had in my bag to kill the time. But I also made an unexpected stop at Staples, bright and early, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So I got some stuff there, so I can show that stuff too. And I was excited to find some stuff there. So okay, so the first thing that I thought I would talk about was something I already had in my bag, which was a good vintage find a little while ago. I do have to say, I feel like I'm finally, thank God, slowing down with the vintage buying. I feel like I'm getting it out of my system where I've gotten everything I really feel like I was looking for the most part, give or take one or two unicorns. And that feels good because it gets a little tedious with all the vintage buying. You gotta look at it real closely. You gotta wash it as soon as you get it and make sure it's in good condition. It gets kind of tedious, so I'm glad to be sort of tapering off. But this was a good sort of last hurrah in the vintage finds, and this is the Tavern on the Green Mini 100. I'm told it's a Mini 100. It is very small. It is mini, and it's good for the latex gloves. I tend to alternate, switch out every now and then what kind of pouch I'm using to put gloves or masks in, and so this is one of the ones I'm using. And I'm sure people are familiar with Tavern on the Green, really good old vintage pattern, and it's trim with the unicorns, which just sort of makes it. It's all about the unicorns for me. And the pattern does have some nice birds in it. To me, they look like woodpeckers, and this is one of them. There are several in the pattern with different colors. The trim is just so great. You get the rooster there, and there's a squirrel in the trim, and also the stag. And there are bunnies in the body pattern. The main pattern. There are bunnies. So you can't go wrong with this pattern. It's just great. And this was in good condition. I don't think it didn't have a tag. It didn't have a tag, but I mean it's in great condition. It doesn't have any wear, and it wasn't expensive. So I just feel like I really kind of lucked out with that. So that was good. Very pleased with that. And the other thing I was thinking I could show if I was stuck in my car. I never know if I'm going to be stuck in my car because I could come to New York, to visit my dad, and I could, luck out and get the spot on the right side at the right time, and then I wouldn't have to go down to my car. But anyway, them's the breaks. So this is the Bees lanyard, which when it first came out on the website, it sold out rather quickly, and I realized recently it was back in stock. So I had seen it in a store, but I hadn't actually touched it really all that much. I mean, I had touched it a little bit, take a picture of it, but I hadn't really held it or anything in the store. And so I'm realizing now that I actually have it in hand that it's a lot rougher than the other wide lanyards. And I really love the wide lanyards. I love the ones that are sort of on that slick nylon. And I have a couple of those. And I like the cotton ones too, and I have one of those because they have a nice soft feel to them. They're very flexible and soft because the cotton is soft. This doesn't give you that satisfying kind of softness. It's a little rough because it's kind of like this rough cotton woven strap. And the embroidery causes a stiffness. You can see like I'm forcing this together and it's not bending. I'm pushing against the edges of this embroidery and it's not bending. So there's sort of a lack of flexibility in the same way. And so that's a little disappointing, but for the way I'm using it, it's fine and not a big deal. But maybe if you were wearing this, it might get a little irritating against you, because it's not might not be so super comfortable. I don't know. But it's only, the embroidery has a right and a wrong side. So just thought I would show that because people are considering this, they should be aware. And I had seen that in the store, so I knew that that's how it would be. But I just, for the critters, and also, here's the back. Also because it is sort of a throwback to the original bees pattern, and I did recently get, well, not too recently, but I did get something I haven't shown yet in bees, which I'll have to show. It was a good vintage find, new with tags. So I thought, you know, it would coordinate well with that. And I just use this, you know, to sort of contain my various ID cases. So it doesn't really matter if it's not super smooth. So that was my other thing. Then, for my unexpected Staples find, now I've been going to the Staples in my area where I live now, and they never had any of the newer Staples Vera Bradley patterns, and I was always very disappointed. So I thought, dawned on me, maybe I could try the Staples here in New York while visiting my dad. And I did find some stuff. So what I found, what I was looking for initially, hoping to find, was something in this Lighten Up Foxwood Blush. And I don't know whether they just never really got a lot in or whether it had already been picked over and I was kind of late to the dance, as usual. But they only had a couple of zip IDs left, and neither of them had critters, and neither of them had foxes. That was disappointing. I was looking for the foxes, and not only did they not have foxes, and they didn't have anything else on them. So no zip ID. So I start looking at the pencil cases. That's what this is. Pencil pouch. No foxes, but they did have a couple with the rabbits, and I got this one because even though I liked the foliage better on the other one with the rabbit that they had, he was sort of almost blocked by the label, and then I realized this one has a chipmunk on the back. The other one didn't have a chipmunk, so I thought I would, you know, go with this one to get two critters. But I really love I'm trying to get a good spot of light. I really like this softer palette and this, you know, pretty blush kind of ballet slipper pink almost kind of background color. Really softens up the whole thing and is, I think, more appealing than the regular Foxwood pattern. It's just so softer. That pattern, I've talked about it in a number of videos of my Foxwood stuff, but the colors in that are a little electric and jarring. So this is a nice variation. And this pouch has these loops so you can slip it in a 3-ring binder, which I probably will never do. But sort of coated inside the back of this Lighten Up fabric, and it's coral color in this pattern. Doesn't smell. I always smell stuff like this because stuff like this sometimes has a weird rubbery plastic smell, but this doesn't smell, so that's good. I smell everything. I smell my food before I eat it. My husband's always making fun of me. So then I decided to get a notebook. This was actually the first thing I saw in this pattern, and it was in an area where they were keeping all the older Vera Bradley patterns, and this was the only thing there. And I was really bummed. I hadn't seen, you know, anything else yet. And I thought, well, I guess I'll get it because it has a fox on it in the corner there, you know. I was really disappointed this is all they had. And so I take it and I'm wandering around. And I guess someone must have put this back in the wrong spot because I came upon an end cap at the end of one of the aisles that had all this, the two new patterns and all the stuff in the new pattern. So if people are in their Staples and they're not finding stuff in the regular Vera area, I would say just look around before you leave the store. Walk around and look at the other areas because it may be in a display sort of off on its own. So I think someone had just put this down in the wrong spot because I came to the area with all the new stuff and there were, you know, a number of these notebooks there. So this is much more flexible. The backing on this, the than the ones you would order from the website, which are nice and sturdy and stiff, and I do like those, but they're a little heavy sometimes, so I thought I would try this, and maybe if I want to carry a notebook in my bag, it's a little bit lighter weight. So it's a little bit bigger than the small notebook I have been using in my, like the mini Vera notebook that I have been using in my bag, but I'll give it a shot, see if I like it for that. If not, I'll just use it at home. And then I was feeling kind of, I was starting to get that crazy like critter obsession feeling, and like grabbing all the stuff with critters. So I don't know when I'll ever use this. It's a folder. But it had the fox on it, and I saw the fox. I mean, it's got all the critters because it's kind of a wrap, it's a wrap. So the bunny's sort of on the front, but wraps around to the back there. It's got all the other critters, the chipmunk, the fox. So I figure, well, these are just, the folder flaps inside. So I figured I'll find some kind of use for it, I'm sure. It wasn't that expensive. And then I saw the planner, and I really like this kind of a planner. I already have one that I'm using that is I think it's an 18-month one. And I use it for keeping my work schedules on. And I thought, well, I don't really need this because I already have one, but I couldn't resist the critters. So I figure, I'll use this in my bag because I think it is a little bit smaller than the one I have. So, this way I have my work schedules on me when I'm traveling or something, if I need them, or I'm out running errands. But I get an email, a work email, and someone asks me about a schedule. I'll have my schedules on me. So it's set up just like the other one that I have, which I've shown. I have it in Bon Bon Medallion. I like these. I like this kind of a binding with a staple, just the staples, not that sewn flat edge. There are names for these bindings, and I should know them because I've been in publishing a super long time, but I don't remember the names of them. But it's got that nice kind of frontispiece. Fancy publishing word. And it's got your basic little mini grid calendar block grids, and your spread with the breakdowns of holidays by month, and then you get to your main like month grid on a spread. So that's the part that I use for my schedule. So, and it's got breakdown by week. Okay, so that was good. And I was, when I was in the store, the label is in its wrapping still, and it had this sticker label right there. And I'm looking at it, and I was super frustrated because I really wanted to get it, but I didn't see a fox on the front. And I'm standing there saying to myself, why, for the love of God, why wouldn't they put a fox on the front? Because there's a fox on the back. And I'm looking at the fox in the back, and I say, okay, the fox is by that looks like an electrified, blue leaf. So okay, well, I'll look on the front for that leaf. And sure enough, I saw that bit of the leaf sticking up over the label that comes off. And so I said, oh, there's probably a fox underneath there. So that made me feel better. So they put a fox on the front. It's like, how could they not put a fox on the front? It's Foxwood, for crying out loud. Anyway, so I'm very happy with that. I was just so happy to find some of this stuff in this pattern. And then I also wanted to get something hoping to find something in this, which is Deep Night Paisley Lavender. It's a light enough fabrication again. But I didn't like the regular Deep Night Paisley releases. And I didn't like the colors. And in combination with the sort of cruder kind of rendering of the paisley shapes, which almost look like a mosaic with these sort of very distinct, shapes drawn out in there, details in there. But the colors, I couldn't get on board with it. But this color palette really is so pretty. Just makes the pattern, really. And I feel like lately they've been doing nice purple themed patterns. I'm not usually a purple person. I do like lavender, but I'm not really a purple person. But I think that they've done a good job here. They you know, have managed to not go too Barney-like. So I was very pleased with this. It came with the lanyard as a set. And then one last thing, which also in this Deep Night Paisley Lavender, another pencil pouch. They had a few of these, but I really like that swirl there. Swirl really was pretty. And so well, it's hard to resist that one. So I did get that. And again, I'm not going to use these for pencils probably. I'll probably use them for masks in my bag when, you know, sometimes I need something that's a little bit flatter and conserve space. And so this is good for that. And it's nice and long. So my, what did I do with my mask? So my pleated masks, which are the ones that I prefer, you know, fit in there nicely. This is a youth pleated mask. My father and I were watching My Cousin Vinny last night, so it's Ute. This is a Ute mask. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about if they've seen My Cousin Vinny. And if you haven't seen My Cousin Vinny, you should watch it. So it fits nice, this youth size mask. I do have regular size masks, and it looks like they would probably fit in here too. So I think this is good for what I'm hoping to use it for. I wear both the adult size mask and the youth size pleated masks. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I want more coverage, and other times I feel like I don't need as much coverage depending on what I'm doing or how claustrophobic I'm feeling at any given moment. So I do have, I have a bunch in both, and I sort of mix it up. Anyway, but I do like the pleated masks a lot. So that was it. Purple inside. Also does not smell. Yay! Lighten up. Deep Night Paisley Lavender. Really excited to get this. Was really, really looking forward to getting this and just loving this swirl. Oh, just love it. Can't wait to use this. Okay, so so that was it. My mini staples haul and my vintage other items for my New York City, my latest New York City alternate side of the street parking edition Vera Bradley bag of the day. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time. I should be loading up, since I am in New York visiting my dad. I'm hoping to do my next All the Vera Dads video, and so that should be up shortly too, hopefully. Thanks so much for watching.